What's going on, everyone? It's Brayden Yeeter again, back with another video, and today we're talking about a topic I've wanted to talk about for a very long time, and it is what truly counts as a sports video game. Now, because I collect sports video games, you should probably know that, especially if you're watching this video, if you watched any of my videos in the recent, month or whatever, and I have over 600, almost 630 sports video games, and I also have about 100 games that don't fit that criteria to be in my sports game collection. Now, I have to ask myself this question a lot of time. What counts as a sports game? Because I'll see myself on the fringe of putting a game in my collection or taking it out of my collection, or after having it for a while, then putting it into my collection. There have been games that have gone in and out of this collection before. And today I want to go over some of those, some games I've had previously, and just talk whether or not these games should count as sports video games. Now, first off, we're going to start with one that isn't really a discussion for me, but these are definitely in my collection. It's very easy to put them in. It's wrestling video games. A lot of people who don't know ball will come up to you and be like, oh, dude, wrestling's not a sport. That's easy. Wrestling is easy. It's all fake. So you don't need to be athletic to be a wrestler. And they'll point out wrestlers like The Big Show, or like people who are just big. King Kong Bundy. Oh, God, he wasn't athletic. God, no, Yokozuna. God. This wrestling is an art form. You have to be athletic at the minimum to be half decent at wrestling. Look at Kane's muscles. You can tell that there is some sort of athletic competition, even if it's all scripted, not fake. God, don't say it's fake. It's very clearly scripted. That's two legitimately different terms. But it is very much a sports game. All my wrestling stuff, these are in my collection. And yeah, it's a stupid argument to say that this isn't a sport. Wrestling games as a whole. I've had that argument before. Awful argument for the wrestling is not a sport people. I don't get how they can stand on that ground. But they've also never watched wrestling probably. So I can't fault them. But next, we get into one that these games are in my collection, but it's very I've had discussions before about should these count or not. Goofy kart racers, like Mario Kart, Garfield Kart, and then Nickelodeon kart racing. Games like this. What do we do with these? Because at their core, they are very clearly racing games. Like you can see, they're very clearly kart racers. They're placement racing video games. That's the whole gimmick, right? That's the whole idea. But because of the items and the theming, a lot of people will say that these shouldn't count as pure games because there are F1 games, there are NASCAR games, there are plenty of sim racing games out there that are way more sports than this. But I think at their core, there is so much actually just decent racing in these games that they have to count. Even if, in Mario Kart, you can't throw a blue shell in real life, but you can damn well drive a kart that looks like this in real life, That's why I think it counts. Games like this, obviously these two I think are way more goofy and silly and whatnot, but Mario Kart as well, it's not exactly perfect in terms of sim racing, because it's not a sim racer. But I think it's just simulation racing enough for it to count, even with the items in all three of these games. I think that these games all do count, and they all currently do sit in the collection. And as we get down the line here, these games are going to get more iffy in terms of the ones that are in the collection, and then we're going to talk about games that aren't in the collection but have a case towards that afterwards. But we're going to jump in here with this. Ninja Warrior-esque obstacle course video games. Now I've got Road to Sasuke for the PS1 right here. And I've got American Ninja Warrior Challenge for the Xbox One right here. What do you do with these, Now, there's a difference between games like American Ninja Warrior and Sasuke and games like Wipeout or other obstacle course-esque racing games. Not racing games, obstacle course video games. You get what I'm saying. But these two games right here, are near impossible to win in real life. And that is why these games reside in my collection. Because in real life, Sasuke, I believe, has only ever had 3 different world champions. I could be wrong on that. I'm a little washed on my facts. American Ninja Warrior's only ever had like that about same amount, maybe 4. It is near impossible to beat these courses, beat these obstacles in real life, unless you are the highest caliber athlete that you can be. You have to have a crazy sense of agility. You have to have nuts upper body strength. You have to do goofy shit like going up a salmon ladder. Average person can't do that. So, at their core, I do think these are very much sport competitions. While they may be on the line, I do think that they count, and they are in the collection currently. And we're going to continue that obstacle course theme here with a game I just brought up, all of the Wipeout video games. Now, this one is even closer to the line here. These games are in my collection, but I'm telling you, it's barely. Like, they are barely in. And why are they in? Because, look, you can see the giant words, big balls on this game case, right? That's goofy and cartoony. But this is not quite American Ninja Warrior level, but it is an athletic competition at its core. And what you have to do in these courses is athletic inherently, even if they aren't meant for you to succeed. Like, even like the Wipeout courses, they're meant for you to fail. You're not supposed to beat them. But people would beat these courses, and there always was a winner, and they would have the unathletic competitors get eliminated in the first round of this. If you ever watch an episode of Wipeout, they always have some gimmick competitors who are just there to take like 15 minutes on the course and then leave. They're gimmick like contestants, you know? But the athletic people always win the episode. And I think that is mainly the reason why I have these games in. Because of that fact that you needed to be athletic to win this. You couldn't just walk up to Wipeout and be like, I'm going to win it. And then you take 8 minutes on the qualifier and you're out, you know? Because that is something that very much happened before. There are episodes of Wipeout where someone walks in and goes, I'm going to win. They quit on the second obstacle. You have to be an athlete at minimum to win Wipeout. Or at least half athletic. You cannot just walk up there in complete, utter crap of shape and then just win Wipeout. That's not going to happen. Even though you think you could, you know? Because you're not going to beat all the obstacles because they're not meant for you to beat them. So that's my case as to why Wipeout's in. I could definitely see why it's not, though, because it is very much a gimmick show. But yeah, that's that. And then we get to the last game that's in the collection, but this is by far the closest to the line we're going to see here. This is different, to say the least. Now, you look at the cover of this, right? You see boxing, you see baseball, you see soccer, you see snowboarding, you see sledding, you see skiing up there. You know, it's different. It's very different. This game, this was originally not in my collection until about a month ago. When I saw this on my regular game shelf and was like, is that a sports game? I sat down and played it for about an hour 15. And I came to the conclusion that yes, but very fucking barely does it count. Very fucking barely. Because you look up here, you see all that description up there? Quarterback, snowboard cross, obstacle race, bow and arrow, UFO invasion, plate spin. Like, the longer you read them, the worse they get. But I think that there is just enough sports content in this game for it to count. But it's very, very close. If you haven't played this game, I think it's worth playing this to form a good opinion on it. Because it's hard, man. It is a hard game to put into perspective whether or not this should count. It really is. These are actually 3 games in one here. It's 3 different games in one. Because it's really bad. This game's really bad. I haven't talked about this game on YouTube, but this game sucks. Really not good. But that is all for the games that are in the collection. Now we're going to talk about games that aren't in my collection, but maybe should be. And we're going to start on the PS2 with this. Big Game Hunter. Now, hunting is a sport. I'm not denying that. That would be an absurd thing to deny. But it is way less of a sport than most of anything else I have on this list. Or in my collection in the slightest. Why do I not have this in the collection? I don't know. But I've thought about it for a long time, and I think it maybe should be. Because this is the only Big Game Hunter game I have. And hunting's clearly a sport, man. Like, Like it or not, it very much is. I don't know like much all to say about this game because I haven't really even played this that much. Because this game was, I'm pretty sure, gifted to me. But this game here, hunting is should this count? That I don't know. Let me know about this game if you want to chuck your opinion down on this and any other games from this video. If you want to leave a comment, let me know like if this should be in or not. I think it might be. It's not in right now, but it totally has a case. I totally get why it should be. Now, why it shouldn't be, it's hunting, you know? It's not designed as a sports video game, you know? You're not going to talk about sports video games and bring up, oh, Cabela's Big Game Hunter. You know, that's not a game you're going to talk about. But who knows? Now we're really getting into the niche stuff here. Does this count as a sport? Yes or no? World Championship Poker. Now, I say no. And I don't think I can be switched on this. This one is not in the collection. It's very much not in the collection. I have 2 poker games. I have this one, and then I have World Championship Poker 2. This shouldn't be in, because what I consider a sport is some sort of athletic competition. Now, while poker is let's go with mind sport. We're gonna coin that term for the rest of this video. The mind sport. You have to use your mind, not your body. You think, and while you think in every other sport, poker is not a sport in and of itself outside of the mind. You don't have to do any athletic activity to get to the poker table, you know? And when you're at the table, you don't have to do that either. I just think that this game is out purely because of the fact poker may be a sport, but it's not the kind of athletic sport that I think qualifies to be in the sports video game collection of mine. I don't think it should be. So that's why this game is out. And there are a couple more games we got to get to, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now we're really getting weird here. The Game Party series. Now, if you look at this cover, everything on the cover of this is sports. Basketball, air hockey, table tennis, football, baseball, golf. What is that? Is that bocce ball? I don't know what that is. But if you look at the back of this, favorite arcade sports and party games in an entirely new way. This game is a party game. Now, does it count as a sports game? I don't think so, because I don't think it's not a pure sports game. Now, while you can say that about Mario Kart, that's not a pure sports game. That in and of itself is a kart racer. That is a sports game. This is a game designed to be played at a party that has sports aspects in it. And other than that, I really don't know what all you can claim here. Because look, it has hoop shoot, but it doesn't have basketball. It has air hockey, but it doesn't have like ice hockey. It has mini golf, but it doesn't have real golf. That's why I think it's all budget versions of these big sports. It's meant to be like an arcadey theme. I don't think it should count because of that fact. But if you have a differing opinion, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. We got 2 games left to talk about here. And we're going to start with this one's this is a GameStop case. First GameStop case you've seen on this channel ever. Probably, I think. Hole in the Wall for Xbox 360. So we're gonna take the disc out here because it's probably a better visual because it actually has the art on it. But if you know the Hole in the Wall TV show, the whole idea of it is that walls in the shapes of different stuff come at you like this, and you have to go through the hole in the wall. That's why they call it that. Now, do you have to be athletic to do that? I'd say no, because if you watch the first, I'm serious, if you go on YouTube and watch the first episode of Hole in the Wall, the TV show, there's a team called the Beer Bellies in it. And they are just 3 fat dudes. And that is it. That is all that they are. They are just fat dudes that go on Hole in the Wall. And I think I did some research one time and was like, should this count? I looked up the first episode of it. That sold me out. I was done, man. I was just like, there's no way that should possibly count as a sports video game. And I've stuck to that to this day. I've asked this question on stream before about this game specifically, and I think it was a resounding no. I think this game used to be in my collection, but I took it out because I thought about it and I was like, does that really count? And to me, it's a strong no. So that's that. And then we've got one more game here. A game that is on the line. Because at its core, the aspect of it is a sport, but the way they do it isn't. And this game isn't just like this series by itself. There are other versions of stuff like this that we could totally throw in here. but we're going to bring up the Super Smash Brothers series. Now, I wanted to talk about this for a little bit on this channel, but I haven't had the chance to because it's not a sports game. How weird is that? It's on the it's on this video, but what? That's so weird. It's stupid. Now it's a fighting game. It's a fighting video game. Now you could say, "Oh, dude, UFC games, MMA games, those are fighting games. Why doesn't this count?" Because in the UFC games, you can't take a several 100-pound Pokemon and hit a move that turns him into a spinning fireball into fucking Rosalina from Mario Galaxy. You get Conor McGregor, and that's like it. But this, like, you call them fighters, and there's another game like this. I used to have a Street Fighter video game that I had in my collection for a little bit, but I took it out before I ended up trading it in. And it's because it's cartoony. Now, you could say cartoony in the same vein as Mario Kart, but that is still a kart racer. No matter what you do to Mario Kart, it's going to be a kart racer. That's the thing with it. You can't take the characters out of the cars in that game because it's Mario Kart. This game itself, you can do whatever you want with these characters. It's not a simulation fighting game at its core. At its core, it's fucking Smash Bros., which is its own branch of the fighting game genre that I don't think counts as a sports game. And it's really hard to dissect this. It's really hard to dissect something like Super Smash Brothers for the sports game collection. In my opinion, it is, at least. Because I've had people say, yeah, it should count. And I've had a lot of people say, no, it shouldn't count. And I'm one of those people. I don't think it should count. But it always has its case as to why it should be. And I think that is the reason it hangs around in my brain is, oh, should I throw the 4 Smash games I have into this? Because I do. I have a couple Smash games that could boost on my collection number. But I don't really think this should count. Along with a couple of the other games we've covered here today. But that is about it for all the games I need to talk about. If you guys have any opinions when it comes to any of the games I covered today, please genuinely drop me a comment. I would love to have some discourse about this. Join the Discord server, subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow me on Twitch. Everything's down there. The game collection doc will still be in the description, as well as the price charting link to my profile for everything I've got in terms of sports video games. Now, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you again in the next one. Peace out.